at what level you should publish your work in. So very short talk. So we go on to, we have to understand a little bit of impact factors. So impact factor, this is how it's done. So we have the impact factor of 2008 only. Impact factor. This is a definition of what it is. So it's actually papers that other inside the journal. So it must be cited by other journals in ISI journals. It's a club. If it's not inside the club, it's not considered. So the definition, try to understand it. We go on to types of publications. So different people have different views of publications, different levels. So of course, so the type of publications, so obviously the highest impact, highest citation are reviews, as we just suggested. But in my opinion, any paper that's submitted to me as a review will be automatically thrown back. I think a review must be invited. If you are not invited, in my opinion, don't write it. You are not old enough, don't write it. So normally, different types of publications, we write short papers. So in the sciences, it's very important to write, at least chemical sciences, what's called urgent letters. They call letters urgent. In biology, it's not important. So obviously, the citations all shoot up because the paper is very urgent. So many types of papers, depending on what you have. If something that's important, you report it as a letter. So now, citations vary among different fields. So we should not lump together everything. So just a rough idea, since I've taken it somewhere. Mathematics, if we talk of citations, as a base level 1. So chemistry, roughly about 10 times, roughly. Physics, chemistry, 10 times. But studies involving medicine, because it's important, medicine about more than 10 times, about 78 times. So this is the nature of research. In other words, if you want to change your profession, please do it now. Please do it now and tell everyone, because this is the fate this is the path we are walking. So if you know that the citations will be low, it's the nature of the subject. You cannot change it. This is how this is counted. So I just rest your eyes on this particular slide. Look at the number of the values. Mathematics generally low. Clinical sciences involving medicine and all that, typically very high. So, like it or not, if we have another SARS virus here, our citations will shoot up. It's a bad thing for a country, but in terms of citations, this will shoot up. So again, we talk impact factors. So just roughly, when you look at just a rough number, you need to look at your fields, just roughly. So usually chemistry and physics about in the center. So typically most of the papers about 2, or average 2. The medical sciences, very, very high. So I do not want to talk about it, but just to tell you, other countries, they talk of their own country. They average everything out, because when you talk about Web of Science, it's everyone. So the country itself can also normalize it. So there's an idea called the national, sort of country type of impact factors. Not so much of the impact factors from the Web of Science, but more of the country's impact factors. So we have to go on. So now citation behavior. So again, all different types of journals, all different. So we have no one size fit all. No one size fit all. It changes, different fields, different subjects. Behavior is different. Some are hot subjects, some are not so hot subjects. So now, what we have is, we know impact factors correctly measure a journal, but we are left with legacy. Citations are used to measure workers, researchers. This is exactly what's happening now. So all of us, like it or not, we are rated by a certain number called the H index. So everyone must know your H index. This is exactly what's happening. We are just rated on the basis of our H index. In our university, as far as I know, our university, we have to make up 500 impact factor points. So this is how it's added up. All the numbers, all the impact factors multiplied, as far as I know, by the number of articles, and then that gives a certain number of points. And then this is added up, and if we pass, I think if we pass 500 points, we can keep our status. So because of that, we have to, everyone has to contribute to is adding of these numbers. I want to deal with the point of my talk, which is how to pitch a paper. So what is considered general interest? What is considered specific interest? This is the point I want to talk about. So papers that are of high citation are of general interest, not of specific interest. So like Newton with the laws of gravity, it is of general interest. Things that if an orange falls on a person's head, it's of specific interest. So supposing we study cats, there's an article somewhere floating around of cats and parasites, whatever it is. If it happens here, it is of local interest. It is of local interest. Because if you go to Persia, Iran, beautiful cats, Persian cats, no, the cats are all very clean. And if you go to Korea, they eat all the cats. So you don't have problems with cats. So it's of general interest, specific interest. It's not of general interest. Things of general interest will have high citations. This is the fate of it. So if you want to do research, you must do something that's of general interest. Because of that, it is very, very difficult to publish, I'm a chemist, in the Journal of the American Chemical Society, because it's a general chemistry journal. What is considered general depends. I don't know what's general, but it is very difficult to publish in the Journal of the American Chemical Society. Very difficult, because it must be a general interest paper. So now, now we go to what's called journal tiering. So there are what's called influential journals. Influential, that means other journals cite these journals. This is influential. This is why we have all these quartiles. So they're considered influential if they're leading this type of research. So other journals quote these journals. So that's why we have journal tiering. And basically, this type of articles drive other articles. So high impact factor, high quartile range, top quartile journals drive other journals' research. So now, we have journal tiering as is practiced now. We have quartile 1, 2, 3, 4. So all these things are set by the Web of Science. We have nothing to do with it. So how you want to access it? You have to enter our library portal, our library website, and move around to what's called the Journal Citation Reports. And from there, you will know what quartile article, your paper is it. So you have to know the exact name of the journal, what the name of the journal is, and then you have to play around with this, and then you get the exact, you'll get the impact factor and also what quartile. So quartile number 1, typically, like number 1 is what's considered the best. Usually, if someone publishes in tries to publish in quartile 1, then they start crowing about, they brag about it because it's something very nice. So quartile 1. Quartile 2 is not so outstanding, nevertheless good, so lots of PhD work will appear probably in the quartile 2 range. Right. So what they are, let's go on to the next one. So now the Journal Citation Report, this is exactly what you should do if you go to the library portal, you go to the Journal Citation Report, you get all this information. So how many articles are published, what is the impact factor. So you have to key in the name of the journal. So from that journal, it'll tell you the impact factor, other details, how many articles are published, what year it is. So this one is valid for 2008. This is what we are using in the library, 2008. So now, I'll give an example of a paper I published in I think it's called Chemical Physics. So, because it's chemical physics, it can fall under chemistry, or it can fall under physics. So if it falls under chemistry, it is a certain quartile. If it falls under physics, it's another quartile. So you have to check all this out yourself. In this particular case, chemical physics appears in quartile 2, both as chemistry and as physics. Depends on the journal. Sometimes it can go into 2 quartiles. So in this case, it's just quartile 2. We have another example of something which I cannot... general molecular structure, where in one destination is quartile 3, and in another destination is quartile 4. So in terms of our Web of Science incentives, so you will be paid at the higher quartile, another more money. This is how our university system works out. So you come to this type of journals, you should try, if you're not sure, try something that's closer to the higher quartile. So this is an example where it lies in two quartiles in two different subjects. But for our purpose accounting, we consider it the higher quartile. So there are lots of other examples. I've given other examples where you can fall into two quartiles. So you have to look at your own journals themselves to see whether it goes in one quartile or another quartile. Now, actually now it's too late because you have done your research. It's too late. Your rice has become porridge. It's very difficult. You have to play around with it. What you have is what you have. That's why my talk is actually more intended for those who want to switch lanes now in the mid-career. Otherwise you're stuck with this, so you're actually playing around with just a little slight movement of the quartiles only. It's too late. So now, high quality work, as we all know, this is the essence of high quality work. It takes on the issue, and the references are the references that tell you whether the field is new or not. Most importantly, all these references, you cannot use it for another journal. If you use it for another journal, then it will not be in the high quartile range. So these are the hallmarks, the signs of a high quality article. So sometimes some of us in the sciences, we make first examples. So after the first example, we publish it in the communication. Then the second example usually goes to the second level, and you must be aware of that. If you publish your first example, the second example will appear in a lower level journal. It cannot go back to the same quartile. Then from the point of view of a reviewer, then the reviewer wants to know what you're trying to do. Does the author know the subject? Are other works cited adequately? This is most important from a reviewer's point of view, whether the author has cited other works correctly. So the reviewers have many types of reviewers. Sometimes they comb through it, they read through it with a fine-tooth comb and find all the mistakes. Sometimes they review over coffee. Different types of people, different styles. So we don't know. Sometimes the reviewer is in a bad mood, and the review will not be good. So it depends. So you must be careful not to annoy the reviewer. And one of the things that annoys the reviewer is broken English. Broken English, I don't know what they're saying, and usually I'll turn the article back and say I cannot review it. Just simple like that. So now we check on the references to see the quartile. When you check the references, you will see certain signs, whether the work is repeated, whether it's influential. So usually in the higher quartile papers, the references will have influential references, very influential references, and sometimes a little bit of the author's own references to show continuity. Now, we talk of self-citations. Sometimes the authors will have to cite their own paper to show continuity. Now, self-citations, generally about 20% is allowed. You look at the top high quartile range papers, about 20% of the papers are self-citations. Anything more than 20%, in my case, if a paper is cited with lots of self-citation, I'll say the paper is not interesting because it's just a person talking his own work or own work. So watch out if you want to write high impact factor paper, impact journals. Be careful. Don't put too many of your own articles because then the article is not of general interest. The other people are not reading it. Right? So now maybe if you want to if you think you cannot go into quartile 1, maybe you should go to quartile 2, particularly when you say it's not a refutation of a problem. It's a problem. Someone else has already addressed it. It's not particularly important. And sometimes, even if you've got lots and lots of results, there's nothing you can do about it. It'll go to quartile 2. If it's not so, same references can be used for any other articles, then it's quartile 3. So be careful. You can tell if the same references, other people are already citing it, it is probably quartile 3. And the data are medium quality, just medium quality, nothing very exceptional. Now, if you want to publish within the same quartile range, then which one to choose? usually what is called society journals, in this case, the ones I read, Inorganic Chemistry, which is American journal, European Journal of Inorganic Chemistry and all this, probably the American journals, at least the impact factors are generally higher. So when you choose journals, choose a journal with a suitable name. The ones in the last part, in my opinion, the worst name is Polyhedron because it doesn't sound like a chemistry journal. Inorganica, Chimica, Acta, these are all chemistry sounding names, but Polyhedron is not a chemical name. It doesn't sound chemical. It sounds more like mathematics. So I'll probably come to the end. One of the things you must remember, don't give the reviewer a headache. Because the reviewer, as everyone knows, has got lots of other things to do. So try not to antagonize this person. Write proper English, not with broken English. With that, I thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Seik Weng. So now you know where to place your papers. Now you know how to pitch your papers now. I think he told me no Q&A. I think you can ask him discreetly. And today, I think we will end here. And once again, thanks again to all of you for making your time to listen to the two very enlightening presentations. Fortunately, both of them are chemists, and the chairperson is a chemist. I think will be quite biased. And shall we give another round of applause to both speakers?